In this video, we're going to do some multiple choice questions together. Now, I've picked a poetry passage because for most of my students, poetry is really intimidating on the AP English Lit exam. Now, let's start with the poem. It says, this poem, Let America Be America Again, was first published in 1936. So the first thing I do whenever I get to a poem is I try to just get the basic literal meaning of about 70 to 80% of the poem. That's a key mistake a lot of people make. They think they need to fully understand a poem. You're not going to do that in most cases. So poetry is an unusual way of speaking. So you find the strangeness of the poetry and you push it to the side and you focus on what it literally says. So I'll start with the first stanza. It says, let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Well, that's super clear. Thank you, Langston Hughes, for making this really clear for me that you think America isn't America anymore, and it certainly wasn't that way for you. I get a general idea about what America should be. He says it should be a pioneer on the plain. It should be seeking a home where he himself is free. So I get this general idea of the American dream or something like this. Then he says in line 6, let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great strong land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Now this is important. You could make a lot of observations about this, connect things, look at rhyme scheme. Guess what? You shouldn't be doing any of this work here. Do that in the free response section. You want to focus on the questions as they come up to you. So don't try to guess what kind of questions they're going to ask. Focus on just getting the general idea. So stanza 1 is let America be America again. Stanza 2 is about this American dream. He keeps repeating, he doesn't really feel part of America. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. So we see the pattern. He's talking about what America could be and what it hasn't been for him. Then we get, say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. So he's listed different groups in America, the poor white person, the Negro, the red man, the immigrant. He's using an older language for these groups of people, but we're still seeing this idea that there's a very dog eat dog, mighty crush the weak kind of society, and he feels that it's not something that he's been able to be a part of. Again, I need to keep moving quickly. I'm getting a lot of literal meaning out of this. He says, I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, and of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker, sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, hungry, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today, O pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. So we talked about these groups of people, the pioneer, these categories of people, and now he's talking about who he is. He is all of these groups of people, the farmer, the worker, the Negro, the people, the hungry, the humble, hungry, and mean. And so he's connecting this somehow to pioneers. I don't think I understand exactly the connection between his voice and the pioneers, but that also doesn't matter. I don't need to understand every aspect of this. I'm going to be coming back to this passage when I look at the multiple choice questions themselves. Line 39, it says, yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream. I am the old world while still a serf of kings who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore, and Poland's plain, and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand I came, to build a homeland of the free. The free? So again, this plural, I am all of these people, all the people who have been oppressed by America, who've been left out of America, and he's defining all of this. I get it so clearly at this point that I'm going to move a lot faster so that I can get to the questions and come back and do reading. This is a critical part of your multiple choice strategy. You need to think, how much time do you invest reading? All this reading I'm doing is great, but I'm not getting any questions right. I'm not progressing along. So you want to balance this. Maybe I should only, read this for about 2 minutes, like 120 seconds, and then move on to the question. Or maybe there's a good reason for me to spend 4 or 5 minutes on this part, so I move faster through the questions. As you practice, make sure you study yourself as a test taker. Pay attention to your style and what works for you, but keep your eye on the clock. You don't want to run out of time. This is the last passage. It's questions 44 through 55. So if you've been spending your time badly all throughout the section, you're going to run out of time on what I think is a pretty straightforward poem. So I keep reading the poem. Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions of relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today. So the dream he thinks is almost dead is a very pessimistic view. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet. And yet must be the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me an ugly name you choose, the steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. And now the final 2 stanzas, quickly. Oh yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. So it's not as pessimistic as I thought. He's getting more optimistic here. Let America be America again. Let it be something it never was. America will be in line 80. The final stanza, out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, and all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. So I finished the poem. This literal pass-through is something like, I am all of these kinds of people. I want America to be better than it ever was. So it's forward-looking, it's positive, but it has a really sharp edge of negativity and of critique. America is a land of oppression, of inequality. So this is what this poet is struggling with. I'm going to get right to the questions because, as I've been saying, the clock is running. All this time I spent reading the poem has got me almost in a little bit of trouble. Question 45 says, the parentheses in line 5, line 10, and lines 15 through 16 function chiefly to. Now notice what this is. Question 45 is a question without a question mark. So I want to turn it into a question. And it says the parentheses in these lines function chiefly to. So if I just reverse that, it's what are the parentheses for? What's the purpose of the parentheses? Oh, okay. So let me go back up. It's 5, 10, and 15 through 16. What is the purpose of these parentheses? And he's talking about himself. He has this grand narrative of let America be all of this, let it be the dream the dreamers dreamed, O land of liberty. And each time he's talking about himself in these. And he's talking about the contrast between his goal for America being great and his actual experience in America, which has not been great. So I got an answer. Notice again, I have an answer to the question before I go into the answer choices. And then it says number 45, what do? Do they insert ideas that are off topic? Is this poem badly written? No. So A is incorrect. Interject the speaker's individual point of view. For sure. He's saying, interject means to put in his own point of view, and he keeps saying about me and his own experience with America. So B makes a lot of sense. To break up the rhyme scheme, maybe, I didn't see that. D, connote that the words come from another source. So connote means to imply or suggest that somebody else's voice, maybe. Indicate that the words are meant to be sung, no. So I can notice all I did was I got rid of A and E. I didn't really like C or D either, but I left them because as I'm eliminating answer choices, I want to be really conservative. I want to take my time. It can be, sometimes people get a little too crazy eliminating things, and A is gone, B is gone, C is gone, D is gone, E is gone, and you eliminated everything. So I like to only eliminate 1 or 2, sometimes 3, and get it down to the right 2. So as I look back over B, C, and D, I'm thinking which of these answer choices is 100% right, and which one is in any way wrong. 2 of these are going to be somewhat wrong, and if it's somewhat wrong, it's completely wrong. So I look back through, break up the rhyme scheme. I'll just double check that that's wrong. Dream scheme, love above, me, me, me. Okay, maybe it functions to do that. Notice the question says function chiefly to. So even if it does break up the rhyme scheme, the number one thing it does is it puts his voice into the poem. So that's why I'm going to go with B and move on. Again, I've got to keep moving quickly. 46, the ideas in lines 11 through 14 reveal that the speaker, again, a question without a question mark, so I'll rephrase it. What is revealed about the speaker in these lines? So I'm going to go back up, 11 through 14. What is revealed about the speaker? This is right here. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. So what is revealed about the speaker in these lines? Well, he didn't say me, though notice what I said earlier. I said you want to read a couple lines above and a couple lines below. Before this section, he had said, it never was America to me. And after it, he says, there's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. So he's starting to get more specific about how America isn't America for him. But in lines 11 through 14, he says that there's a false patriotic wreath, that opportunity implies is not real, that life is not free, which it isn't for him, and he doesn't have equality. So let's take a look at what's revealed about the speaker. A, he believes that America was predicated on hypocrisy. Yes, that there's this false patriotic wreath, so maybe that makes sense to me. I'm going to leave A. Answer choice B, he concludes that Americans purposefully tear each other down. That's kind of in that same negative vein, so I'll leave it. C, he thinks that true liberty is impossible to achieve. Now that's a problem. This word impossible is what we call extreme language. So always, never, first, only, must. Those are words that raise a red flag for me because is it really impossible? No, he thinks that America will be something again. It gets optimistic at the end. So C is definitely out because it's extreme language. Then I have D, desires to live in another country. He desires to live in another country. He doesn't say that. This isn't the I'm moving to New Zealand thing that people do. I'm moving to Canada. So that's out. And then E, he deems America's roots are patriarchal. Now, if you don't know what the word patriarchal is, leave a question mark there and just leave it to the side. The word patriarchy refers to male dominance in society. That's really off topic for this poem. He doesn't really talk a lot about male and female divide, about gender, so I'm going to eliminate E as well. But again, if you don't know what the word is, let it slide, leave a question mark there. So does he believe that America was predicated, that it was founded on hypocrisy, or does he conclude that Americans purposefully tear each other down? Now, I do remember the tear each other down thing, the dog eat dog. That's in a different part of the poem. So lines 11 through 14, I can check one more time. I'm going to go with A. He believes that America was predicated on hypocrisy, on that false wreath, he calls it. Let's take a look at question 47. It says, the main function of the italics in lines 17 through 18 is to. So this question, again, a question without a question mark. What's the purpose of the italics? I'll scroll up to 17 and 18. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? And then we get the answer. I am, I am, I am. Lines 19 through 22 are answering who is the person who's mumbling and drawing the veil. So What's the purpose of the italics? It almost feels like it's somebody else's voice, or like he's quoting something that he's then about to respond to and answer. Who are you? Some of the only yous that we see in this whole poem. A, to imply that the ideas were translated from a foreign language. That can happen sometimes, but that's not what it is here. B, create a demarcation, a line between two sections of the poem. So is he drawing a line in the middle of the poem? Probably not. Notice a lot of these like stylistic things are less likely to be the explanation than something that relates to the meaning of the work. So I'm going to eliminate B. C, suggest another voice is asking the questions. Well, that's kind of what I came up with, so I'll leave that. Emphasize the dubious nature, the doubtful nature of the questions. Maybe. Or E, posit, so he's going to propose that questions the speaker can then answer. Okay, so he does have questions that the speaker answers in the next lines. So C and E were both things that I said. It sets him up to answer the question later, and it suggests another voice is asking the questions. So eliminate D. Now here's what I can do. If I have the time, I'll go back and sort it out. If I don't, I'm going to say, I think that I'm going to go with C. I'm just going to guess. If I were more careful, maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. It doesn't matter. What matters is I have it down to the right too, and I'm moving quickly. We'll go to the final question, your question 48. In relation to lines 19 through 24, lines 25 through 30 represent a shift from, and I'm going to guess it's from one thing to another. So what is the shift from 19 to 24 versus 25 through 30? So here, 19 through 24 versus 25 through 30. So it's these two stanzas. So I'll mark this as this is 1 and this is 2. So we go from I am to all these different groups. I'm finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. Then he says, line 25, I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, and grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. So we see this shift from I am all of these people to this list of ofs, all the things that America is kind of really about. So let's take a look and see if we can figure out what that is. And it is 29 through 24 and then 25 through 30. So I'm just checking the lines. Does it go from first person to third person, from I to he, or from we to they? I didn't see that, so I'm going to eliminate A. B, a passive tone to an indignant tone. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to leave that. C, a poverty-stricken individual's point of view to an immigrant's point of view. Maybe, I'll have to double check that. D, a despondent mood to a hopeful mood. It's all pretty negative, so I feel like that's D is out. And then it says an effect to its cause. It starts with an effect, and then it explains the cause. Let's see if that makes sense. I am all these things, the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, mighty crush the weak, tangled in the chain of all the things. That does kind of make sense to me, right? That we have the effect of all these people torn apart and pushed apart, and then the cause of it is all this division and hatred and of squeezing people for work and pay. So that makes a lot of sense. Is it go from, no, the immigrant appears in line 23, so that doesn't make sense for answer choice C, so I'll eliminate that. Passive tone to an indignant tone. Tone is one of the hardest things you're going to face in this test. Don't let it overwhelm you. Keep eliminating, and you'll find yourself not wasting too much time there. Okay, so I'm going to guess, again, I'm running short on time, I'm going to guess E and move on. So here's the thing. No matter how many questions we do, no matter what you're doing on the test, remember to pay attention to time. You have 55 questions in 60 minutes. You've got to move quickly. Remember, when you get to poetry, if these are passages you struggle with, you can save them for the end. You can do the passages in whatever order you want. But as I said, you've got to remember to go back and bubble in your answer choices as you go, so you don't really lose your place. You don't end up scrambling at the end. Remember to try to come up with your own answer choice to the actual question that you're being asked. And if the question's written in a confusing way, make it a simple question. Why did he bring up this in line 10? What's the difference between 1 and 2? Making simple questions and coming up with your own answers is really going to help you. Finally, make sure that you're looking for wrong answers and not right answers. A lot of people spend time worrying about exactly what's correct. They waste time going back and forth. You're going to look for a couple of wrong answer choices and then take a guess and move on. So as you practice, pay attention to your timing. Pay attention to translating the complicated AP language into simple, plain English, and look for wrong answers.